Orange Trail. It's also called the Beach Mountain or Clove Trail trailhead. It goes through an area called the Clove, which is pretty culturally significant to the Ramapo-Lenape tribal nation. So they've inhabited this area for thousands of years. And they did kind of move around seasonally to follow the fresh water and food sources. So once we get in there, one of the main attractions of this part of the preserve, there is a waterfall. It's called Buttermilk Falls. We can check that out. It's off of Scioto Drive. If you ever want to come back, really easy access. You can almost drive right up to it. And then the trail sort of skirts off to the right and goes through the Clove, which is essentially like a canyon. There's steep, like basalt walls on either side of you. It's really similar geologically to like the Palisades area along the Hudson River. Anybody ever been to the Palisades? Big hiking spot. Looks really similar to that. It's kind of that columnar basalt, which is a volcanic rock. So there was some volcanic activity here, you know, hundreds of millions of years ago or whatever, and over time this little valley just kind of eroded. But it was a perfect shelter for the Lenape. We don't know a lot about their cultural history because they didn't really have like a written language, so it's all just kind of passed down generation to generation, just speaking words. But this is a great area to find artifacts, pottery shards, arrowheads, things like that. So yeah, let's get started. I'll try to point out some cool plant and animal stuff along the way. If you have any questions, let me know. The whole preserve was protected because there are a lot of rare plants and animals here. So for that reason, no motorized vehicle use is allowed, but enforcing it is hard sometimes. Oh, that's okay. I'll be here all day. I'll come back. It's a really short walk.
I heard you mention it.
I know, thank you. I'm forgetful. You guys notice there's not a lot of stuff growing like across the forest floor. If you're compared to like out in Sussex County, Warren County, or like upstate New York where there's a lot of understory. Anybody know why that might be? Why is there nothing growing between the trees here? It's an animal that you all have probably seen a lot that eats everything in sight.
Squirrel?
Not quite.
Deer?
Deer. White-tailed deer. Overbrowsing is a big problem here. And there's no hunting allowed. That is one of the tools that we use, like all of my other preserves a little further west out in Sussex, Warren counties. We have a deer hunting program for ecological reasons because these deer, if they're left to their own devices, they just breed like rabbits and they eat everything in sight. And what that does is allows these invasive species to move in. You guys know what I mean when I say invasive species? Non-native, right?
Yeah.
So I saw somebody was pointing out this plant over at the other spot. Actually, on either side of us, these are both invasive plants. If anybody has a garden at home or like a landscaper, you might recognize this.
Pachysandra.
Pachysandra, exactly. So this is probably bird dispersal, I would guess. So the birds eat the berries and then they poop them out and it spreads that way. Sometimes wind dispersal too. This one here is another one. This is called Japanese barberry. It's really prickly. So these things have a lot of advantages that allow them to kind of outcompete our native vegetation. They emerge a lot sooner. So like in the wintertime, they come up before everything else. They leaf out before everything else because they're just better suited to the environment because they're not from here. So a lot of these are like ornamental plants that people plant in their gardens at home, or maybe like 100 years ago, they were planted for erosion control or some purpose. But at the time we didn't know that, you know, they would just take over. So one of our main things with Nature Conservancy, we want to protect biodiversity. And what that means is you want to have a lot of various types of plants growing in one area. You want diversity. You don't want a monoculture, like one plant taking over everything, which is kind of what can happen. Some species are more aggressive than others. Not too bad here yet, fortunately, but not having a deer, the deer don't have any natural predators, and if there's no hunting, then this is what can happen. But yeah, in a healthy forest, you'd see a lot more growth between the trees. You'd see young trees starting to come up, but the deer will eat those young saplings and just not even give them a chance.
Was this rock dumped here, or?
No, this is all that basalt, just from the volcanic.
Just natural, wow.
Yeah, this whole mountain is basically one solid rock. But yeah,
Wow.
over time, water gets in, freezes, cracks, and it just becomes like this scree, this kind of loose rock. So this is all naturally occurring. Some of it may have been dumped, but vast majority from here. Talk about this plant here. Anybody recognize this plant here with the big, broad leaves?
Is it skunk cabbage?
It is skunk cabbage. Very good. So this is actually a good, nice native plant that we like to see. It does pop up in these wetland areas. Cool thing about this plant, well, first I guess the name, we'll break that down. It smells like kind of skunky if you go up close to it, especially when it first emerges. And that's the reason for that is it's just to attract pollinators. So flies and bees, they're drawn to that smell, they'll pollinate the plant, allow it to propagate. And cabbage, pretty obvious, looks like cabbage that you grow in a garden. So these plants, they can actually emerge like while the ground is still frozen. It's one of the first plants that you'll see in the spring. It's through a process called thermogenesis. So the plant can actually like produce its own heat. So if you come here in February, there could still be snow on the ground. You'd see these skunk cabbages popping up. And for that reason, they're one of the favorite foods of the black bears, which we have a ton of in this area. It's a big food source for them because it's like one of the only things available when they first emerge. Black bears in New Jersey, thriving. They're found in pretty much every county, but this is really the main area. And a little bit further out, Warren, Sussex, tons of black bears.
You keep saying that? Just keep saying that.
Yeah.
In fact, look behind you.
Has anybody ever seen a black bear in the wild before? Yeah. Did anything happen? I bet I can tell you exactly what happened. It got one look at you and it turned around and ran away.
Lumbering along, yeah.
Yeah. Any wild animal, no matter what it is, for the most part, it's not always true. But in this area, anything that sees you wants nothing to do with people. They know people are dangerous, and they'll just run away. So a lot of people, bears are a little misunderstood, but not a threat really. It does happen, like, there's been some incidents, but nothing scary. We're almost at the waterfall. We'll keep going.
I'm just gonna go back and forth.
We're gonna go back. It's out and back. I'm working on kind of reimagining the whole trail network. If you look at a map, there's a lot of linear trails. It's better to have loop trails so that if you park, you know, you start and end at your car, right?
Right.
That's not how the trails were laid out here, you know, years and years ago. But today, basically go in a little bit. That's the Clove. I just want to check out the waterfall, and then we'll end up back at the parking area.
There are, like in Jersey, or just
Like dealing with environmental conservation?
yeah.
There are tons. So we partner with a lot of them. We have a land protection team. So Brandon and I work with probably like 35 other people working in New Jersey. And we have a team called Land Protection, and they just buy properties. And since we're like a pretty small staff, I mean, I manage all of our preserves in West Jersey. And that's 50,000 acres. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll help other land trusts to buy properties, and then we'll like turn over management responsibilities to them. So there's groups like Ridge Valley Conservancy, we work with them quite a bit. This preserve is owned by not just us, but also a group called New Jersey Natural Land Trust. It's part of PEP technically. So there are tons of all across the state. New Jersey's pretty good about that.
When I came, I guess I don't remember the waterfall. Maybe it was wintry yet.
Yeah, and it's not always flowing.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's kind of a trickle, but
That's really nice.
Buttermilk Falls. Technically, we're like right on the edge of the property. So this may or may not be private land, but maybe doesn't seem mine. It's really not flowing super high right now. If you come here at like in the winter or in the spring after the snow melt, it can be really
the guy that was working there was like the nicest person ever. He was like so like welcoming and like came in and like I couldn't decide. He was like kinds of coffee. And he was like, let's do rock, paper, scissors. And then that's how I chose this coffee. And it was so good. I got
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe I hiked right past that. We went up that way.
Did you?
Never even came down here. Unbelievable.
It's really, so you can't believe how quiet it is.
Oh my gosh. Someone could live here. They did.
Yep. You can see why.
Yeah. Especially if the trees grew out. You could almost hide in here. It's like if there's trees that way, you might miss it.
If you guys are wondering what these log piles are here on the side of the trail, you guys have probably seen the spotted lanternflies, right? Everybody says if you see them, you squash them. So that's another invasive kind of pest that's really proliferating. These trees here, these are called tree of heaven. So Ailanthus is the scientific name. I forget the second part, but non-native tree. I think they're from Southeast Asia. And this is the main host plant for the emerald ash borer. So we hired a forestry company out of Newton to come in here and remove hundreds and hundreds of these trees that were just kind of taking over. Made a big difference. They left all the kind of organic matter here just as sort of habitat for birds, and you'll see all sorts of stuff using it. But yeah, the emerald ash borer still remains true. If you see them, you definitely want to squash them. Huge threat to our fruit trees and orchards. What did I say? Oh yeah, that's a whole other different beast. Anybody ever heard of that one? Emerald ash borer? It's like it's kind of this iridescent green beetle. They bore into the trees of ash trees, and they'll kill the tree after a while. It's really having a horrible effect on a lot of our native forests. But in through here, yeah, we're entering the clove. It does get a little bit more closed in here, but I just thought I'd explain why all this stuff is piled up here. There are a lot of nice, though, native kind of hardwood trees growing in here. You see a lot of beech, which is the smooth bark, a lot of maple, but these are bad, so that's why we got rid of them. Tree of heaven.
Wow.
Great idea.
That's it. Oh man, look at that.
Anybody like to cook? Anybody like to cook here? Yeah? Do you recognize this plant? This is a wild edible. It's native to New Jersey. It's only around for a couple weeks in the spring. It's a ramp or a wild leek. Anybody ever tried that? They serve it in a lot of restaurants. It's like a kind of an oniony, garlicky taste. But you'll see it grow along these in wetter areas. A lot of times it's right up against the skunk cabbage, which you'll see a little further in. But I always like to stop right here too, because now we're kind of in the clove and just listen how quiet it is. It's really amazing. You would never know that you were like in the middle of such a densely populated area. But yeah, these things really popular. You'll see it like on Instagram this time of year. People just go all over the place looking for it, and it's usually not legal to harvest it, especially if you're on like state-owned property or Nature Conservancy owned property. So if you did want to try it, just make sure that where you are allows you to like forage. But yeah, this is ramps. Really tasty.
You can have that.
I was gonna have some lunch. Darn. Wow. Amazing.
Well, that's about it. This is where I usually end the tour. We're basically nearing the end of the Clove area. You can continue on, but for our purposes, stop here. I just wanted you all to see this. And if you wanted to get another group shot, this would be a great spot. I'd be happy to take one.